How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
IPL turns 40. Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout. 40th game sees the Lucknow Super Giants take on the Delhi Capitals. These two teams kicked off their campaign playing each other at Visakhapatnam. KL Rahul missed that. It poured water on all our plans in the build-up to that game. But with Aaron Finch and Cheteshwar Pujara, 40 games into the tournament now, gentlemen, finally KL Rahul up against Lucknow. Does this game mean more for him? I know it's already 8 games into the season, but after everything that happened last year and going to Lucknow, does this game mean more? Puji?
Yes and no. I think as a professional cricketer, you try and move on from what has happened in the past. But at the same time, there's a little bit which always plays in your mind. So this is the team he might be wanting to perform against, but not a lot. I would say that even if it is, it'll be just 10-20% which might play on his mind. But apart from that, I don't think he will be thinking too much about performing against Delhi.
You have to be careful as a player too that you don't overplay that, because sometimes you can want things too badly and you try too hard. You try and make a bigger statement than what you might already be comfortable doing, or going slightly outside the scope. So he's an experienced player. He knows what he's doing. I think he'll just go about his business as usual.
When you had so many franchises that you played with, it's a good thing, I would like to think.
No.
But when you come up against a former franchise, maybe after a point it does, like Puji says, you're a professional. But we know the events of last year were unique. It wasn't just a franchise saying, right, we're going in a different direction. There was a lot more that at least we can sense that might have possibly played out. How do you focus on what's in front of you and leave that aside, even for an experienced player?
Oh, I think that's the reality of modern sport, not just cricket, but sport all around the globe, is that for whatever reason, people change teams. You can't look too much into it. I don't think that you can overplay it at all. You just get on and do your own job.
Do you see an emotionally charged KL Rahul anyway this season? I go to the Chinnaswamy game where he won that game against RCB, and the celebration was, by at least KL standards, quite high on emotion, and he is in good form. Are you seeing a different KL Rahul this year, both of you?
I'll start with the way he's batting. It is definitely different. He has a bit more freedom. The kind of shots which he's playing, it looks like he has gained a lot of confidence from won his Champions Trophy, and the way he is performing across formats. So he is definitely a confident player now. There were times where he was carrying a lot of baggage, but now he has cleared all those things, and now he's in his zone. So in that way, I would say emotionally he's a lot more balanced. There are times where he thought a lot about what was happening outside the bubble, which I'm sure he's not doing it now.
Yeah, the way he's batting is also exactly what caused him criticism last season at Lucknow. But do you see a different KL Rahul this year, the kind that we know he's capable of, and we're seeing the more free and expressive and attacking Rahul this season?
It still blows my mind when someone gets 700 runs or 500 plus runs consistently, and they come in for criticism about not going hard enough. And Virat's one that at different points throughout his career, people have said, well, he should be going harder. But you need runs. You still need to make a lot of runs in T20 cricket. So I think that the change of team to DC, he probably feels the love a little bit more. And then when you're not being hounded, I guess, about small things that you're doing wrong, and you're only being told about the things you're doing wrong. No one's ever praising him when he gets 70 off 50 on a difficult wicket and you win the game. You're always just strike rate, strike rate, strike rate. Maybe that can weigh you down a little bit at times, and then you lose your ability to go through the gears as a batter because you're constantly worried about it. But now we're seeing somebody who's got confidence in the rest of the batting lineup as well. So then he feels as though he can play however the situation dictates, rather than almost feeling the whole load of, if I get out now, we're not going to win.
Let's talk about Lucknow Super Giants then. And it's a funny team, in a way. I go back to the comment after their last win, the dramatic win where Rajasthan, we could say, bottled the chase, and they managed to win by 2 runs. And that's 5 wins now for a team that, by and large, we've been critical either of the Pant captaincy or the use of their impact subs, sometimes too many changes. Yet they've won 5 games over here. Are they a team that you sense have actually covered bases and look like the other teams like RCB and Punjab, who we think are dangerous? with Lucknow, somehow there's something that's not convincing. Is it fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. Look, if you look at their bowling lineup, it doesn't feel like it's a complete bowling lineup. Even if you look at the LSG team as a side, when you are playing against them as an opposition, you don't feel that threat.
Yeah.
And I doubt whether they'll make it to the playoffs. Yes, they have performed well, but overall, I feel that it doesn't look like a complete team because one is some of their bowlers are injured. Now they are getting fit. We don't know yet whether Mayank is fit to play his first game. So there are a lot of questions there. And at the same time, there's a lot of pressure on Rishabh as well. Being a leader, not just as a player, but even being a captain, to lead a franchise where there have been a lot of talks, which has already started from first game onwards. And I'm sure he's very calm and he's very composed. But at the same time, when you're leading a big franchise, there's a lot of pressure on you as a player.
The thing that concerns me about LSG is how they've relied on too few players right throughout. I think if you're going to be competitive and have a real run at a finals push in T20 cricket, particularly a long season, you need a lot of contributions right throughout. And I think just at the moment, they've relied on too few to either get them out of trouble or get them into a position that almost everybody else's results are quite irrelevant in that game. And I just feel as though they need a few more contributing throughout.
The last two games in particular might be case in point for games where both Pooran and Marsh, who started this tournament so well, failed, and they lost to CSK, and they, by all admission, should have lost to Rajasthan Royals as well. We've spoken of Pooran, but at what point does the sort of the feeling of players in form also come in where they say, right, we better get the runs here.
Yeah.
We've been carrying this team. If we don't, there's not much left.
That's difficult as a player as well, because I think Marsh and Pooran aren't the type of characters to let that bother them. They're comfortable playing their own game regardless of the situation. But if you're coming into a side and you feel that pressure, you can tense up because then you don't want to make a mistake. And the modern game now, it's not about who's making the fewer mistakes. It's about who's having the most big overs or they're not worried about the mistake side of it. But I just feel as though that there's players, because Rishabh's not playing a free game.
Yeah.
He's playing with baggage at the moment, whether it's from internal or the external pressure of leading a new franchise. He's not playing the way that we've seen him play best. You think back to when he was dominating for Delhi. Yeah. He was walking out and hitting him out of the park from ball one and taking the game on and putting so much pressure back on the opposition that he was forcing them to make mistakes. At the moment, he's playing a game where he's waiting for the game to come to him.
Yeah. I'll come to Pant in a second, but very quickly, if you can tell me what your observations have been on Mitch Marsh, the opener, arguably his best IPL season, and he seems to be enjoying only batting this year.
He's living the dream. I guess as somebody who's not as mobile as some of the youngsters in the field and he's not able to bowl at the moment, it's a no-brainer, absolutely. At the same time, he loves opening the batting, and it's an opportunity that he's got reasonably recently in T20 cricket. 2 out, he's got so much power. He's a very, very good player of fast bowling. And you combine that, if you lose an early wicket and you get Marsh and Pooran together, you can't bowl spin to Pooran early, and you struggle to bowl pace at different times to Marsh. So they're actually a great combination when they're batting together and can take the game away from an opposition really quick. But yeah, he just looks content with how he's playing. Anything half short, he's just smacking it over the leg side. He's using his strength and his power to his advantage.
We've also spoken of Aiden Markram playing his role in the absence of those two. But I'll come back to Pant. And I think you said, Puji, at the end of the last game that the struggles of Pant could be helped if they find a place for him to open. But can they with the form of Marsh and Markram? Do you think that's still a possibility, or would you like to see it?
No, I don't think so. Pant is someone who should be batting in the middle overs. Or, I mean, earliest should be at number 3. Nothing earlier than that, because
there's no moving Pooran though.
No. Yeah, you can't do that. So the best place for Rishabh to bat is at number 4 at this stage. And not to forget about the way Ayush has contributed in that team, because we haven't spoken much about him, but he's someone who is holding the middle order together. And he has performed at a time where the team has been in trouble. And that's where I think Rishabh can do the same thing, which he hasn't been able to do so far. But Rishabh, if he can, once he starts performing well, once he gets, I mean, he says that he has gained his confidence, he has scored some runs. But I still feel we haven't seen best of Rishabh Pant, which is more capable of doing it. And I'm sure in another couple of games he will get there. But at this point, it looks like he's not there. And if he starts performing well, then their batting lineup will be a lot stronger.
Very quickly on Delhi, Josh Butler clearly outclassed them in that last game. But that now makes it 2 losses in the last 3. And the one they won was that dramatic super over as well against Rajasthan Royals. They feature regularly in these segments. But is there any concern around Delhi, in spite of the good start they've had? Of course, it looks like they've gone away from Fraser McGurk. Whether Faf is fit or not, we don't know. Is there anything missing about this Delhi side, or are they still strong enough, even with the slight concerns I've mentioned?
Well, they've won the close game in the Super Over, which to me that's a good sign for a team. When you win close games, that shows that you're up for the fight. You're prepared to put the bit between the teeth when things get really tough. With them starting the tournament quick out of the blocks, I think that can happen in T20 cricket. And now it gets to a point where teams have got more information. They're seeing trends and patterns with your team, so they're able to almost try and pick it apart a little bit. So keeping that team evolving through the tournament to continue to find their best is what's going to separate their chances.
This game is at Lucknow, where they've won 2 and lost 2. Who's favourites for you, Puji? LSG or DC?
DC. I'll go with DC.
Finchi?
I'll go with LSG just for the Puran factor.
And if we get to see Mayank Yadav, who knows? Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Aaron Finch and Cheteshwar Pujara. Spotlight on the 2 high-profile Indian keeper batters, Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul, as Lucknow hosts the Delhi Capitals in match 40 of the IPL. This was our build-up to that on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.